let's move that script to a new window. So we're live. We are live. Hey, look at that. It even says we're live. That's pretty cool. I love the technology.
Isn't technology great?
Technology is great. So I've got a...
It's the worst thing ever.
I don't know, but what did you just tweet, Chris?
I think I tweeted we went live.
Not in English.
Uh-oh. Here, let's go to Twitter. Let's go take a look at Twitter. Yeah. That's really interesting. Was that by design?
I have to go look now.
I felt
it. Is the SAP setting on your internet set?
Wow.
Comece uma transmissão a vivo a YouTube.
Wow, that's
goal. Oh, classic tweet.
Thank you.
Thank you. Really?
Yeah, muchas gracias, señor.
I think it's Portuguese.
I think it's
not Spanish.
No.
Yeah. I would say Portuguese is a good guess because it's not Italian or Spanish.
Yeah, I was going to say Italian, but it's probably more Portuguese.
Transmissão.
So international. Hey, let's get this thing rolling in whatever language you choose tonight.
Let's work with English. That's going to be a little easier for.
Thanks for liking that, Land Monkey. That's a lot of help.
Da, comrade, da.
We make good podcast. Off we go.
Okay.
I'm going to hit record.
That's good, yeah.
I don't know what language. What do you think the theme song will come out in tonight? I don't know. Let's find out.
Bienvenidos a Caching in the Northwest. The podcast solamente dedicado to geocaching in the Pacific Northwest. And I've mangled that completely. But hey, welcome. Tonight, we're going to talk about caches and caches unique to this little corner of the country. Es mejor de todo el mundo. So, prepare to wander through the valley. It's time to go caching in the Northwest.
Wow, we can't do that until we bring in our multifunction monkey. Some say he can create paper log sheets simply by chewing bark. And others say he makes clouds in his backyard. All we know is he's called Land Monkey.
Hey, and because I live in the Northwest, I don't need to even make the clouds. They're just there in the backyard.
He gets mad when I make clouds, but
that's different. I think I bought you a book about that for your birthday. All right. Anyways. Hey, yes, it is Caching in the Northwest. And once again, we want to thank all of you fine folks who are joining us, whether you're listening to us pre-recorded at the bus stop, bouncing your head to the theme song, whether you are live and participating in the chat group, and we thank you for that as well. However you are participating or enjoying this podcast, and we trust that you're enjoying this podcast, thank you. Thank you. And thank you.
Oh. By the way, the theme song did play according to Wet Coaster in American, and according to IHAM, it's in the language of bad dancing.
Well, yeah, it needs to play in American because if it played in Canadian, it would be, caching in the Southwest.
Well, this is mostly true, yes.
So,
or just how about just caching in the West?
It's too late. I want to thank our Denali level supporters. That's Limax and the Mount Vernon Parks and Recs Department. If you want to know more about supporting this show, no matter what we call it and what language we tweet in, click on the Patreon link on the cachingNW.com website. Now, tonight we are going to talk about the Auburn Geocaching Adventure 2016. But as we always do, before we get going, let's start glowing.
That's right. We're calling this segment. I don't know why I always say that we're calling this segment. We do call this segment. It's been called. This segment is called Glow, or Geocaching Log of the Week. And whether you wrote it or not, we want to hear about it. Send an email to feedback@cachingNW.com. Call in to 253-693-TFTC, or get super high tech and use the voicemail tool on the website and show us just exactly how it is that you glow.
Yes, and that voicemail tool is really cool. It's a cool tool.
I'm a tool that uses voicemail.
Hey, I think that's different somehow.
Okay.
And I'm going to move on.
All right.
Tonight,
Not arguing.
this week, the glow comes from friend of the show and frequent listener, IHAM.
Hey.
I have found think pie. There's an exclamation point at the end, so I have to say it that way.
Intense.
Yes. And the log reads, Die Monkey solved the puzzle. And as many geocaching teams that I know, behind every good geocacher, well, there's a good Mrs. Geocacher. And it says, this Die Monkey solved the puzzle, and off we went. Whilst looking at Ground Zero, stumbled across a stack of Garmin Nuvies of various vintages, curiouser and curiouser, and an unused pad of checks. Mental alarm bells started going off. Quickly found and signed the log, then off to the police station to drop off the contraband. And he finishes with TNLNRSG, or in other words, took nothing, left nothing, recovered stolen goods, perhaps?
Oh, well, that's an interesting glow.
How do you know the unused pad of checks wasn't, a finder's prize? Go ahead, go buy that flat screen TV you've been waiting for.
Yeah, it was nice knowing you.
Okay.
I'll come visit you. I'll bring you a sandwich.
Oh, thanks.
Opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily those of the Land Monkey.
Agreed. Or Wits End.
That's true. But we do have opinions expressed by other people.
Such as?
Such as Subway Mark. He wrote an email. In fact, we had a very nice email exchange this week. He just returned. He says, I'm sorry I missed the chance to win that Alaska Cruise Geocoin from Landsharks. And it was a great coin. So, Baja Betty, thank you.
It still is, yeah.
Yeah, well, we don't know that anymore. Baja Betty won. You could have done anything with it. He says, I was on vacation in Scotland and Ireland and missed several podcasts. I'm just now getting caught up, and I'll probably hold off listening to the podcast on the actual Alaskan cruise until my wife and I are in the car traveling together, since we have a deposit down to do an Alaskan cruise next June from Vancouver.
Nice.
Yes. But speaking of my vacation, my wife and I got very confused at one point. We were driving along the motorway in Ireland. That's an interstate freeway here. And needed a break. There was a sign for services at the next exit, which basically means a truck stop type rest area. We pull off, then go through the rotary to the rest area and notice the name Barack Obama Plaza. Right? Do you remember they're in Ireland? We go inside and it's themed to the current president of the United States. Apparently, he had some Irish ancestry that has roots in the area where this rest stop is located.
Yeah, right. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, can you keep your commentary till the end of the email, please? He had visited the area sometime in the not-so-distant past. But wait, it gets even more strange for my Canadian friend. One of the food outlets in the rest stop is a full-fledged Tim Hortons.
Boom,
So
yeah.
here am I in Ireland eating a Papa John pizza with French fries as part of a meal deal, as you need potatoes with every meal in Ireland. Inside Barack Obama Plaza, all the while my wife is sipping Canadian Tim Hortons coffee. And yes, there was a geocache out in the parking lot.
Of course.
Very international here.
It's
Very
like
nice.
International Geocaching Day.
Absolutely.
Wow. He sends some pictures, and the more you read about it and look at it, it's strange and gets stranger.
It was really strange. There's like a 1970 something Cadillac, the ones that are like 45 feet long, out in the front. I think I had tail fins and the whole 9 yards. Yeah,
That's so awesome.
With
I love it.
one as the license plate.
yeah, Obama one. Yeah,
I believe in the rest area, I looked at other pictures. The president's name is O''Bama.
so it's like from Alabama. It's of the Bama.
Of the Bama, yeah.
Yes, there you go. All right. Well, hey, you know what? We've also got some news from our good friends at geocaching.com. And they say that apparently it is FTF week coming up soon. And I find interesting. Everybody going to rush out for a new cache? Not exactly. They're putting a little bit of a spin. They say get ready for friend-tuned FTF week. So geocaching is better with friends from October 10th through 16th. You'll finally have an excuse to get your muggle friends out caching. It's Friend to Find week. To participate, help your newbie friends find their very first geocache, then submit your FTF photo. You'll both receive a prestigious Friend to Find badge to add to your geocaching profiles. The most friendly photo submissions will be featured on the geocaching blog.
Nice.
Yeah.
So if I'm looking for someone, I can go for a friend to find?
I would actually suggest that what you do is go into a park and just wander around and then maybe just hang out in the bushes somewhere. And as strangers jump out and ask them if they know, really loudly, suddenly ask them if they know what geocaching is.
That's got to work.
And then that way you'll find out. Yeah, that way you'll find out if they're a muggle or not. And if they're a muggle, say, come into the bushes with me.
I can't see anything wrong with that plan at all.
It's flawless.
And I'll bring you a sandwich in prison too.
Okay,
even though
thank
you're
you.
in Canada.
It's very kind of you. You can explain that to the border crossing. I'm bringing a sandwich for my incarcerated, stupid friend.
I might even go across the border.
Advice on podcasts.
Buy you a donut at Tim Hortons or something and bring it to you there. I don't know. I'm not going all the way to Ireland for one, though. You'll have to settle for a British Columbia donut.
All right.
Wet Coaster does say there have been Tim Hortons in Ireland for over 10 years. We saw one at a small Spar store, a corner store.
But are they full-fledged? Because Subway Mark said there was a full-fledged Tim Hortons, and I've never seen a semi-fledged Tim Hortons. But
I also want to say that Brylang says that there's nothing wrong with my plan whatsoever. So
yeah, there you go. And he is the official Caching in the Northwest research department.
He really is. So.
Yeah.
So at that point, feel free.
Okay. You know, I did this podcast a couple of times by myself.
And was it much more enjoyable?
Well, no, I'm just thinking I may have to make plans to do that again.
You know what's nice? If we're both incarcerated, you can carry the podcast all by yourself. We're really just here to fill time for you.
I can do it. I can't say it'll be interesting.
Well, speaking of filling time.
Yes.
How would you go filling time on Earth Cache Day?
Well, you know, as Canadians are so polite, they like to say sorry a lot. And I think they probably also like to say thank you. So maybe they would say thank you to their local Earth Cache reviewer. How does that sound? You know, this International Earth Cache Day, why don't you all say thanks to an Earth Cache reviewer? Did you know these geocaches volunteer their time and expertise in geology to review and publish Earth caches? If you didn't know, an Earth cache is a special type of geocache that guides you to a location to learn a unique Earth science lesson. It's kind of like being in school and geocaching at the same time.
Oh, is that what they are?
Well, you know, geocache at a school, it's fine. There's nothing with that plan.
Not what I said. It's entirely different. And
so the theme tonight is worst possible advice, presented by Caching in the Northwest and Dear Geocache Guy.
What do you mean tonight? We do that all year.
Yeah, that's nothing new. This is a recurring feature of Caching in the Northwest. But geocaching.com says you can earn the International Earth Cache Day 2016 souvenir by finding any Earth cache on Sunday, October 9th. That's coming up really quickly. Mm-hmm. Plus, this special geocache type will be free to all players in the geocaching app. And here's a pro tip. Get your Earth Cache On International Earth Cache Day swag is now available from Shop Geocaching. There'll be links in the show notes.
Closet.
Sorry, I missed the last thing you
I
said.
said, and Land Monkey's Closet has all
Oh, well, yes, of course.
Earth Cache Day swag you could ever hope for.
Yo, swag.
More from geocaching.com because, well, you can't get enough. They, on their blog, they posted the latest with their Geocachinger app update. We've added trails, map type. You'll find these hard to reach geocaches and the caches to help you find the hard to reach geocaches and find the caches hidden right in your own neighborhood park. The feature uses open source maps to show trails in cities, parks, and wild spaces.
Nice.
So it's simple. Just go turn on the trails feature and you're good to go.
Very cool. That's it's a good addition to the app, and they are taking it seriously that they are working on that app and making improvements stepwise. So it's good to see. I'm glad to hear that news.
Exactly.
I see that IHAM wanted to know if I can get a file in a sandwich through customs. And I think I can as long as it's not more than 300K.
Okay.
Is that a 56K dial-up speed?
Well, yeah,
Does it depend which encryption type you use on the file?
Or maybe the compression mode.
All right. So, for tonight's show, we are going to talk about the now I'm going to get the name wrong. So man, I still keep calling you Bad Cop. Chris of the Northwest. The event we're talking about is the Auburn
Geocaching Adventure 2016.
Geocaching Adventure. So Geocoin isn't even in the name there.
No.
But you can get a Geocoin.
You can.
Definitely you can get a Geocoin, because why would you do that if you couldn't get a Geocoin?
For the fun of camaraderie with other geocachers and finding geocaches in the beautiful town of Auburn.
It is.
It is very nice. I thought I had last year's coin right here, and I don't seem to find it. Of course, for those listening later on the audio version, it really doesn't matter. So go right along.
I thought I had mine right here, too. Here it is.
Yeah. Hey, and while we're bringing up the coins, there you go. Very nice. That is actually a super cool coin.
It was a really nice coin. I liked it a lot.
And
I just can't find mine.
While we're talking about the coins and that Chris of the Northwest. Oh, man, I keep calling you Bad Cop. Chris of the Northwest is sharing that. I did want to, a comment was made in the chat, and I did want to share it because it's something I think is important. What Coaster said, Earth Cache weekend should be 2 weekends with the week in between, just like they're doing with the CETO weekends. And I couldn't agree with that more. Cool. I really feel strongly about that, and I really would like the opportunity for our friends at geocaching.com to maybe consider that. The reason being that us Canadians feel so strongly about that is that geocaching weekend always happens on Canadian Thanksgiving. So that means that we are probably interrupting our Thanksgiving family plans to rush out and try and find an Earth cache in order to get the souvenir. Not that, your family is less important than a geocaching souvenir, but we would still like the opportunity on days other than the days we're supposed to be with our families to get that souvenir. So we would like to lobby for geocaching.com to consider making Earth Caching Day the same way that they now do CETO days are now a week. We would like the same with the Earth Caching.
I was thinking, the description you have there is a week between 2 weekends. So that's 9 days, right? If I do my math right. I'm just in favor of a 9-day weekend. Let's have one every week. I'm okay with that.
Math works great on that.
I'll even settle for like one 9-day weekend a month.
There you go. Well, and I think the more Canadians that are lobbied and asked, the more you support we will get for that concept.
Yeah. How many days in American is 9 days Canadian?
It depends. The interest rate's constantly changing.
Okay.
The exchange rate, I should say, not the interest
rate. I have no interest in this right now.
The interest rate is dropping rapidly. The exchange rate,
entirely different thing. Yeah.
So, Land Monkey, how many years have you gone out and gotten an Earth cache on Earth Caching Day?
I have done it every year that I have been a geocacher.
So
that they've had the Earth Cache Day.
So it's really gotten in the way, hasn't it?
Well, I have managed to squeeze it in when I can. The problem is you quickly run out of Earth caches that are easy to get to. And then it gets to a point where you just don't have the time to do it.
And you run out of excuses to tell your family that you have to run to the store for more cranberries or something.
Yeah, well, and finding an Earth cache is not as simple as just going out and finding a traditional or just going out and finding a puzzle cache or something like that.
No, which is why us lazy folk have very few Earth cache finds, because they're just a lot of work.
All right.
Anyways.
Auburn. Think of
What
Auburn.
a beautiful little town.
You know there are Earth caches in Auburn?
I would hope there are.
Yeah, it's a lovely town.
If you wanted to go to this, and I don't know why anybody wouldn't, go look up GC 6 Quebec Zulu Echo Alpha.
Well done.
Thank you. You saw my head moving. And I had to look around some windows that were partially blocking my phonetic alphabet at the moment. And so 6 Quebec Zulu Echo Alpha. To find out all about the Auburn Geocaching Adventure 2016. Now, we had an interview, or a chance to interview Peach of Pete and Peach, and we're going to play that for you right now. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Sitting back.
That's way back. So, Peach, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Now, you are hosting this, really, it's become quite a large event right here in our area at Auburn. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, this is our second annual event, and it's the Auburn Geocaching Adventure 2016. The big event is on Saturday, October 15th, when we will launch 20 new caches in the Auburn area. They're not just in parks this year. They're also in some historic sites around Auburn, and this also some general interest sites, because this is the 125th anniversary of the city of Auburn. So we wanted to highlight some historic places also. It's been a challenge to do that because a lot of those are in downtown Auburn and many of them are too close to one another. So we're having to do more multis than I would really like to, so that we can put the final in some place that's far enough away from another cache. But we will have 20 new caches to publish that morning at 9 o'clock for everyone to go out and find.
How cool. So this is your second annual. How was last year's attended and received? How was the event last year?
Well, it was attended even better than we had any hopes and dreams for. We had over 225 people that attended on that Saturday morning, and there were 73 people that found all the 20 caches and returned to the location to pick up their coin that day. And then there were many other people that continued to find the caches during the year, and the last of the 200 coins was given out sometime around the 1st of June of this year. And because we had that many people attend last year, we feel that word of mouth will help, because I know that geocachers are good at spreading the news of great events by word of mouth. We are hoping we have maybe 300 to 400 people this year. So we're ordering 300 coins because there's only one coin per household, so we can give coins to more people.
Oh, that's great.
That sounds really interesting. I have a question for you, Peach. For those of us who don't live in the Tacoma area. Whereabouts is Auburn, and how does one get there? Let's say if you're coming either from sort of the north area, north of Seattle, or if you're coming up from Oregon.
All right. Auburn is probably about 30 miles south of Seattle, and it's easily reached by I-5 and taking a little detour east on Highway 18 to get to Auburn, or you can come up 167 and get there from the south. It's a growing city, and so there are major highways all around that connect with Auburn, so it's fairly easy to get to.
So it's to the east of Tacoma is what I'm hearing?
No, it's north of Tacoma.
North
of Tacoma, east of Federal Way, south of Kent and Seattle.
Okay. Thank you. It's helpful. There's quite a few listeners to the show who know where that is.
Sure.
Like myself.
we did have about 10 people last year that came from way far away. Naturally, we hope that they will come and spend the night. I'm trying to put together some type of event on Friday night out at the golf club like I did last year and get people to come together that night also. And we are supported by the Tourism Bureau, so naturally they want you to come and spend some time in Auburn and get to know all of the great areas that they have around there and the facilities and the caches and all of the things that make Auburn a great area to come.
On that note, are there any preferred hotels or motels that are partnered with the event?
We don't have any that have partnered up with us, but there are some really nice hotels around there, and I do know that some people have already made hotel reservations there. The tourism board is going through a transition right now, and so they don't have a lead staff, and so I've been trying to do a lot of this on my own, and I'm not a trained tourism person.
That sounds like a lot of work.
It is.
So you had great turnout last year. You're expecting more this year. Are the caches from last year still in place? If somebody were to come up, can they still go ahead and find those older caches?
Well, most of those are. We have had 4 of those 20 that I can recall that have been archived because they came up missing too many times, and we just found that it was just better to go ahead and put those to rest. And especially since we ran out of the coins, there's no way you can collect the coin from last year. But there are the majority of those caches that are still in place also.
Nice. We should mention this is a completely free event.
Yes, it is. Absolutely no charge to attend. And if you find the 20 caches, then you get this gorgeous trackable geocoin that is different from last year. Last year's was great, but this one I think is even better. So you get rewarded for your hard work and absolutely free.
Nice. Now, Wits End and I were able to make it last year. And in fact, because of some cunning planning, we were able to get, I want to say 2, if not 3 first to finds out of the event. So, that's always fun. But
absolutely,
all the caches were well done. And I think we were done, I don't know, early afternoon. And it was a lot of fun. We were able to do it that day. So that makes it, I think, all the more appealing that you can get it done, in a relatively quick time frame and, still have time to meet and greet with your fellow geocachers as well.
Right. I think that, like I said, there are a few more multi-caches this year, but I have expressed to everyone I don't want anything difficult. So therefore, I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to be real arduous to find and go from one place to another. And because we had 73 people that did it last year on the first day, I'd love to see that many or more do so again this year.
Exactly. Now, there is a passport, correct?
There is. It will be available, of course, at the event, and then after the event, I will have Auburn Parks posted on their website so that you can go and download it, or you can go by the Auburn Parks headquarters building and pick one up from there.
Nice.
So, Peach, if folks are coming into town from out of the Auburn area to do this, can they download the passport in advance, or do they need to come to a kickoff event to get it?
They cannot download it in advance. They will have to come to the event to get it, day of event, or then they can download it after the event or pick it up at the Parks Department.
Great, thank you.
Nice. Now, the event, let's see, are there still two locations? Are there a kickoff event and then an afternoon? Come pick up your coin?
We'll be at the same place. We're going this year. We will be at the Les Gov Community Center, which was under remodeling last year. Was why it was not held at that location. It was held at City Hall last year. So we're at the Community and Event Center in Auburn. The beautiful new building that they just finished. They demolished part of the building and added some more, and it's just a gorgeous building, and will do us great for this particular event. And that's on Saturday. And Friday night, we're going to meet at the Auburn Golf Course in their banquet room and have a social time there. And I am working diligently to put together a night cache for that. I don't know if it will be there at the golf course or maybe just a little ways down the road at the Mary Olson Farm, which we will get special permission to use that night. And I want to have a night cache because those are interesting to those that have 2-day events. And I've done one when I went to Tri-Cities, and I just think it's something good that we can offer our patrons here. And I would love to have that happen. I'm working diligently to get it done.
I know you are. And a night cache is a lot of fun. But, you know, the event last year, I went to the Friday night event as well. It was well attended, great group of people. We went out and did some caches in the area that I had not done. So it was good.
Yes, it was. I'm sorry. It was a great event last year, even though it was a fairly small group, but we all had a great time visiting with one another. And you were most generous in donating some items that we raffled off, and I thank you very much for that.
You're welcome. I think I've got a couple of them I can offer this year as well.
That would be wonderful. Thank you so much.
Now, people are going to listen to this and they're going to hold you to it. So my question for you, Peach, is if folks are coming into town, staying overnight or just visiting for the day, and let's say, heaven forbid, but their spouse doesn't geocache, what would they be able to do during the day in Auburn while their other half is running about madly doing multis?
Well, perhaps they could, if they're a golfer, perhaps they could play a round of golf out there at the Auburn Golf Course. If they're a shopper, they can go to the Outlet Collection, which is a huge discount outlet of some fine stores at the intersection of Washington 167 and Highway 18. There's just a lot of other things that they could do in the area. I bet they could find something to entertain themselves.
Okay.
Well, I think the caching spouse needs to convert the non-caching spouse, and that's going to take the majority of the day.
I agree with that, too.
Not everybody's that lucky, so I just thought I would see what the options are.
Now, Pete, you mentioned there are a few historic sites, and this is the city of Auburn's 125th anniversary. So what are some of these historic sites? Can you give us a couple of them just to whet our appetite?
Okay. Well, there is a Carnegie Library that's on the list of historic places, and it is currently being used, I believe, in some manner, but it's about to be remodeled according to the rules that you have to do for a historic place, and be used as a cultural arts center for the city of Auburn. But it was Andrew Carnegie contributed money to some communities to build libraries, and that's what it was used for many, many years until it outgrew that small building. And when a Carnegie Library is no longer a library, the land goes back to the original donor of the land, and that was the family in Auburn, and they donated it to the city for other use. So that is one of the sites that's going to be featured, and I'm working real hard right now to get a couple of the beautiful old Victorian type homes and have them mixed in on this geo tour.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, they've got some beautiful old homes in the downtown section. Like I said, the problem is so many of them are right there together because that was the core of the city of Auburn for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just have to be sparing in what we pick in that downtown area.
Yeah. Now, I remember seeing the Carnegie Library last year, and it spurred me to investigate a little bit. So I've just pulled up the Wikipedia page. Trust me, I don't know this right off the top of my head. But there were over 2,500 Carnegie libraries built in the late 1800s, early 1900s.
Mm-hmm.
And, all over the world, lots in the United States, but all over the world. I was shocked. I had never seen a Carnegie Library. I didn't understand, what kind of an impact that really made to the society. So that is a great point to have people come and learn more about because, like I say, I learned. So
right.
I love it.
And there are a good many of these old homes that are also on the National Register of Historic Places. So they have quite a bit of history. There is a walking tour of downtown, and I've done a good bit of it while doing my research. And it's a extraordinary city to walk if you have the time and the ability to do it.
Nice.
That's pretty interesting. So that, again, there's some interesting stuff for folks who maybe aren't geocachers, but will be in the downtown area for the event.
Yeah, and one interesting fact I found out in all of this was Auburn was originally named Slaughter, and it was in honor of a Lieutenant Slaughter who helped settle that area at first. But he was killed in a raid, and then there were people that thought that the name Slaughter was not a good connotation to name their town, and so they changed it to Auburn, which someone found in a poem, and about Auburn being the loveliest city in the valley, and that's how they came up with that name to change it to.
That's
interesting.
Yeah. I do love history. I could read about it all day.
Well, I have learned an awful lot this past year, I can tell you that.
Bet you have. So, and again, I apologize if this was covered off earlier. I believe you said there was 20 caches that are being placed for the event?
There are 20. I had originally hoped to do 25, but I have to scale it back to 20 because, number one, I can't just work my cache owners to death. Last year I had quite a few that did 2 caches a piece, and this year I'm trying to limit it to 1 a piece except for 2 people. And like I said, there are an awful lot of locations, but they're all so close to each other, and I can't keep having multi after multi after multi because all my interesting sites are too close to each other.
Right.
So I just scaled it back to 20, and I figured that that's going to give people a pretty good workout, especially if there are several multis in there. And I think there's going to be one puzzle that's not too difficult, but you don't want to make it too easy for them. You want them to work a little bit.
Well, you are getting a coin for free, so yeah, there has to be some labor.
Right.
So with the caches that are being placed, when people find them, are they going to need to get a code word out of the cache? Is there a stamp? How is that going to work?
There is a code word. If it's a regular type lock and lock container, the code word will be pasted to inside the lid. If it is an unusual container, it'll still be there somewhere that you can get the code word, and I'm not going to make any kind of announcement about peculiar containers, but there will be a couple of peculiar containers.
With magnetic nanos under bus stops?
Nope. But I have to tell you this, the one that was at the Auburn Environmental Park last year received 118 favorite points.
Wow. Probably not a magnetic nano under a bus stop.
No, it was not.
That was one of the best cache hides I have ever seen. And only because you're working with the parks could you get a hide like that.
Right, and he had to really get special permission to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that sounds intriguing.
Oh, I don't want to give it away, but wow. I mean, it was incredible. It was one of those, you walk past it several times before you even thought, well, I haven't checked here. And then when you do it, you're like, how did they do that? It was very well done. Very well done.
Yes, it was. And then he's one of my cache owners this year, so I'm looking for something as good or better.
Uh-oh. No pressure. No, she likes to put magnetic nanos under buses. So it increases the challenge a little more.
Sometimes the coordinates are spot on. Sometimes.
If you wait long enough, it'll always be there.
Yeah. Once an hour.
Yeah.
Well, Peach, thank you so much for talking to us this evening. The dates again for this geocaching adventure in Auburn?
The main event is Saturday, October 15th at 9 a.m. is the launch of all the caches. You can come at 8 o'clock. We'll have some light breakfast for you and a little bit of announcements and some drawings. And so come prepared for that. And then we'll release the caches at 9 o'clock. And the preview event is on Friday night, the 14th, and it will be at the Auburn Golf Course in the banquet room with hopefully a night cache to follow either on the course or at a nearby location.
Love it. Thank you so much. I plan to be there. Drag Wits End with me because, well, really, he doesn't have a choice. And we will see you in a couple of weeks.
Excellent. We look forward to having you there. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Awesome.
There you have it.
It's a great interview. And Chris in the NorthWest, thank you very much for getting that all arranged and getting that interview done.
Oh, no problem. That's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I know, Wits End, enjoys it as much as he enjoys anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Auburn is a great little town, and the question was asked about where exactly it is. If you think about the I-5 corridor connecting Seattle and Tacoma north and south, the Auburn Valley has Highway 167 running through it and parallels I-5 to the east, and Auburn is over in that valley, oddly enough.
Well, there you go. Yeah, that was handy to have that clarified. I've heard of Auburn. I knew roughly where it was, but haven't visited that I recall. I think we might have driven through once or twice. But
yeah, roughly midway between Seattle and Tacoma, a little closer to Tacoma, I think, but then east over in the Auburn Valley. And I also have to add, because the topic came up of historic sites in Auburn. A lot of cities have a lot of historic sites. One of my favorite, because, well, I'm kind of a space nerd. If you think back to 1986...
Expo.
Yeah, that's exactly... No, that's not what I was thinking of. I was thinking of a sadder news story from 1986, the Space Shuttle Challenger. Exploded on launch at 1986. The commander of that shuttle was Dick Scobie. And Dick Scobie was born in Cle Elum, Washington, grew up in Western Washington, went to Auburn Senior High School, graduated from there in 1957, according to Wikipedia. And after the tragedy of the Shuttle Challenger, there were a lot of things that were named after astronauts and that, but North Auburn Elementary School was renamed in his honor to Dick Scobie Elementary. And there are several things in the area to honor Dick Scobie. So
That's interesting.
there you go.
You know, I have to say thank you for sharing that, because if I visited Auburn and I saw the names, it probably would not have registered with me right away who Dick Scobie was.
Yeah. So
Cool.
Nice.
So what else do we have to talk about, guys?
Well, that was our main topic tonight.
All right. So you guys are planning on going? Is that what I heard?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I wish that I could, but it's just a little too far away, and a weekend that I believe we have other engagements. So
I completely understand. You know, it is the Northwest. There are, seems like, geocaching events every weekend, or one or two every weekend.
yeah.
it does seem that way, and it's continued on into the fall. This is quite the year for events.
And lots of things going on. I know it's hard to believe. There are things going on outside of geocaching. Weird, but they do happen. And
Weird but true.
There you
and
go.
I know that you can continue on. Subway Mark, who contributed that interesting story from Ireland tonight, came up and did this particular challenge from last year after the event had finished. So if you can't make it that weekend, do make plans to visit Auburn and complete the challenge and get to GeoCoin. It's a great area.
It sounds like they may have a few geocoins left over, but don't count on them being there for too long from the
Right.
sounds of things.
Right.
Yeah, Wits End and I were one of the 73, did she say, that finished it the same day. So 20 caches, it's not that difficult to do. And they were good locations. So
That's cool.
we'll have to figure out our plan for this year.
Fun event.
Mm-hmm. Fun.
Nice.
So speaking of fun things, Land Monkey,
Yes.
I think you've got something in the works.
I do. I appreciate the opportunity to spill the beans a little bit. So I have alluded in previous podcasts that the new member of the Land Monkey Studios here, the Bear, who is lacking a name at this point in time.
Da.
No. Well, before I, just jump right out and say no, let me share the fact that what we'd really like to do, Mrs. Land Monkey and I have discussed this, and we've reached out to our friends at World Caching, and we've decided that we're going to hold a little contest to name the bear. So for the month of October, we're going to be running a contest where we're going to ask people on Twitter and Facebook to post using the hashtag Who's the Bear, all one word. Include, make sure you send it to @LandMonkeyGC through the month of October. And at the end of the month of October, so on Halloween, October 31st, Mrs. Land Monkey and I are going to go through all the entries, and we're going to choose our favorite name. And that will become the name of this guy right here. That'll become the name of the bear. And the winner, whoever gave the winning suggestion, will be the winner of a 2016 Lackey coin, thanks to World Caching. And I don't know if you've seen the 2016 Lackey coin, but it's like a pocket watch. It is so super cool.
I don't even have one of those.
Wow, you should enter the
I
contest.
got to win the bear. Oh, wait, name the bear.
Hashtag Who's the Bear? So,
Who's
yeah,
the bear?
Who the Bear? Who's the Bear? Not Who the Bear. If you put Who the Bear, it's not going to come up in my search, and I'll miss your entry. Hashtag Who's the Bear?
Nice. Now that officially starts next week.
That officially starts, I think technically tomorrow is the 1st of October, isn't it? No, tomorrow's the 30th.
Yeah.
So it officially starts on Saturday, the 1st of
Okay.
October.
Well, there you go. So get those creative juices flowing, and pick out a name for the bear. So we know hashtag Who's the Bear.
That's right. That's what we need the answer to that question. Thanks. I appreciate you guys letting me flog that on the show.
Oh, you're welcome.
You flog anything you want.
Thanks.
Don't go there.
Oh, he's too
geez.
polite to do anything improper. He's Canadian.
Hey.
Well, speaking of his proper Canadianness, if
Yes.
any of our listeners wanted to find out more about how to be a good Canadian, how could they reach out and get a hold of you?
Well, reaching out and getting a hold of me probably isn't the best way to find out how to be a good Canadian. However, if you want to learn more about crazy extreme geocaching in Canada, feel free to follow landmonkey.blogspot.ca. In fact, you'll also find out about geocaching in Alaska and Washington and the Yukon and. But hey, yeah. So landmonkey.blogspot.ca. That's our blog. We've gotten much more active in keeping posts going there. Of course, anytime, follow us at Twitter, Instagram, and Periscope at LandMonkeyGC. On Facebook, we're Team LandMonkey, and on YouTube, where our videos go, we're LandMonkey. So just find us there. Wits End.
Really?
Our videos.
Videos.
I was
And,
trying
you know-
to be international, like you were at the beginning of the show,
Yeah,
Chris.
it set the bar really high for our international content.
That
It
was
did.
perfect Portuguese. You guys,
I'm impressed. I did not know you spoke perfect Portuguese.
I
I didn't-
all the time.
I didn't question the accuracy of the Portuguese. I just didn't understand it. Because humble little Wits Ends over at, witsend.us, twitter.com/witsend, and all those places, we don't speak Portuguese. So, educate us there, Mr. Chris of the Northwest.
And if
And where
somebody
would-
wanted to be educated,
Yes,
by Chris
where
of the
would you
North-
educate us?
Uma transmissio of it. If you wanted to know more about me and my perfect Portuguese, head on over to, say, Twitter, Facebook, Google+, all of those. Just look up Caching NW. You can't miss me and my Portuguese. You can also head over to cachingnw.com/hosts and read our bios in English and find out all the links that we just mentioned.
Ahora en portugués.
But of course, as we say every week, we want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Don't forget that you can be part of the show. Call 253-693 Call 253-693-TFTC. Leave us a comment in English or Portuguese. Ask a question, or send us a hard-earned geocoin any time of the day or night. Of course, you can email us in English or Portuguese at feedback@cachingnw.com. Don't forget that your support helps keep quality shows coming in multiple languages. If you like the show, please click on the Patreon link in the cachingnw.com website. The show's licensed under Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, copyright 2016 by me, Chris Umfenauer. A biento.
Ciao,
Hasta la vista, geocachers.
baby.
We are done with the recording.
We're
guys.
done all right.
Oh, we're done. Sorry about the echo. We have a very delicate sound system set up here. And for me to play back audio like I did tonight, I have to make things work, and it brings just a little bit of echo into it, or maybe a lot in this case. But you shouldn't have heard it while I was playing the audio just when we're talking. So I apologize.
I don't know what you mean by echo. I haven't heard a thing, and it just sounds perfect in my ears. The after show.
Wits End, you always sound perfect in my ears.
Oh gosh.
Garsh. Trying to go
Yes?
through the
The hashtag FTAS?
FTOS, yes.
Yes, not Dave.
FTAS.
Wet Coaster says, gee, maybe they should create a geocache type that's made around something of historical note. Something like an Earth cache. Maybe I've heard that somewhere before. I'd love history caches. Pop quiz, how many caches were placed for the event this year?
If they made a cache type like that, it probably wouldn't be able to be found by Canadians. Just
Oh, yeah. Brylang says,
Are you done? When I bring complaints to this show, when I air my grievances, they're legitimate grievances. I don't just, complain for no reason.
And I feel your pain.
Are there feats of strength?
There may be at some upcoming point in time on a future visit to Tacoma.
I think Chris of the Northwest has a pole you can air your grievances at.
Yes, it's an
There you
aluminum
go.
pole. I find tinsel very distracting.
Yes.
Good. You guys are
Okay.
silly. You're really both very silly. I hope you know.
Thank you.
Good.
We've worked hard on that.
I'd take that as a compliment.
Oh, my goodness.
Let's see. So did you remember the answer or do you know the answer to the pop quiz? How many caches were placed
I
for
know
this?
the
Yeah,
answer.
Brian Lang answered it.
Yes, he did. 20. Brylang's the winner. What does he win? Girl Guide cookies.
The honor of knowing that he was the one with the right answer.
Oh, yeah.
That, and a grueling hike on Sunday.
Oh, there you go.
Grueling hike. Yes. Why are there peculiar hosts on this podcast?
Why are you peculiar? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. Never mind.
Well, at least there's hosts.
Oh, that's true.
We're the hosts with the most.
Well, we are now allowed to flog a dead horse.
Are we? Okay.
Name Dave.
You're making Brylang says you're making him blush, Land Monkey.
Am I? Or is it just the lighting in the studio?
B Pendragon says, B Pendragon, by the way, thank you for putting your geocache name on there because then I don't have to make translations in my head.
Because
I
he's
just
old
want-
and
I
has
just
trouble
want-
with things like that.
Well, yeah, I just want you to know you're the only one with your full geocaching name in the chat. So thank you.
That's pretty cool.
Mariners update 3-1 at the top of the ninth. Diaz
And what
on
is-
the mound in closing. Cannot be eliminated tonight, but could be any day if things don't work out for us.
Yes, the baseball fans among us, and by which I assume I probably mean me and B Pendragon, kind of excited. The Mariners. Sure, I wish they'd locked this thing up a lot sooner in the season, but it's exciting that they're still in the hunt.
That's always
and,
fun when your team's making a run for the
So,
playoffs.
Is
Yeah.
that a hunt for a geocache?
I have
October.
tickets to Saturday night's game, October 1st, and I'm really hoping that it's a significant game of meaning.
There's somebody on the show tonight that you can meet there,
That's right.
but we're not saying whom.
No.
But whom is the proper word to use? There's a town in Missouri named Peculiar.
Well, there's a town in Indiana named Erie.
Jay's lost tonight. Sorry, Jay.
I'm just wandering aimlessly around. I don't know what I'm doing on this podcast.
No, pretty much what he's saying is that every Major League Baseball team in Canada lost tonight.
All of them?
All of them.
All of them. That's sad.
Jay's lost. Always lost.
Yes. Pun time. All right. What else have we got going on in here?
I think that's about it. Wow. Why am I tired? It's not like it's 10 o'clock or something and I've worked hard all week. Silly.
Yeah, I can
You are
vouch for that.
silly. All right. Well, that was a fun after show. It's good to
That
have looks like almost all our regulars back in the after show here.
I made some RIP expos. Sorry. I believe.
Yes, however, the Expos, who are now the Washington Nationals, have clinched the Eastern Division. So while they may not be representing Canada anymore, they are in the postseason hunt here.
Okay, so I have to say, Canadian baseball teams are a lot like U.S. hockey teams. while the team may actually be based in Canada, how many
Yes.
players on the team are actually Canadians?
How many players on the American baseball teams are born in America versus Cuba, the Dominican Republic, or anywhere down in Central America?
How many players on the American U.S. based hockey teams are actually born in the United States.
Well, yeah, it's interesting because recently the Mariners played Toronto, and there was a social media post here. I can't find it
I
quickly enough
saw it.
here,
It was in the newspapers up here too.
with all the signs and stuff. Talked
Yeah.
about how we mulch your national symbol and things like that. But my favorite, because the Mariners logo is the S with the compass rose in it and everything, was just the S and the rest of the word sorry.
Yep.
So whether it was complimentary or disparaging to Canadians, it did make me think of you. That's worth something, right?
Well, there you go. That's nice. And if nothing else, we always have your election to laugh at.
Oh,
Well,
please
yeah.
do.
And we're laughing at it
as
too.
well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's utterly incredible.
I thought our last election was a gong show. But
Oh.
yeah, no, it's
The
it's
worst
pretty
part of
entertaining.
the worst part of ours is that one of those two will win.
Yeah.
Is that it is going to come to an end. yeah.
Yes.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that's not so good. Not so good, Al.
All right. Well, anything else in the YouTube chat to cover
No,
off?
done.
All right.
Just go ahead and say GCD, and I'm going to kill the.
Okay, Brian Lang, say GCD. We're waiting. Anytime now. Wait for it.
Oh,
No.
oh,
Oh, there we go.
Good night, all.
Thanks.